This video is brought to you by newqbo.com. Newqbo.com, that's our QBO blog. We have free video tutorials on YouTube, so you to check it out and subscribe to our YouTube channels. We have two channels: youtube.com/BP Controller. The other one is youtube.com/QuickBooks QBO, the one you're watching right now. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to create an invoice to your customer for products, services, items provided by the vendor. So in this situation, you buy certain items from vendor, or you use contractors to provide services to your customer, and how do you bill your to a customer, either markup or just same price. So normally you'll mark up something to make money. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go to QuickBooks Online right now, and to do this task you need Plus plan, or now it's Advanced plan, to have a billable feature to your customer. So the one I'm using right now is the advanced version, but if you have a plus version it will work the same way. Okay, so first thing you need to do is you need to go to the setup, the gear icon. Here's the gear icon, and click this one, and then account and settings. Okay, then you go to expenses. So expenses, that deals with the vendor side expenses, and in here you'll need to show all these three on here. So items table, expense and purchase forms, track expenses and items by customer. And so this is basically tracking items by customer, but if you want to make items billable, you need to select this one too, and markup will default at 20%. Okay, so the markup, if it's a variable, it depends on the customer, depends on the items, then you don't need to select this percentage as a default. Or you can always change it. Even if you leave it here 20%, when you receive vendor bill, then you can always change it, but I'll just leave this in here as it is. Okay, and then save this, and in case you charge sales tax on these items, then you select that one too. Okay, and I'm gonna save this. Okay, and then if you create purchase order, then you need to set this on too. Okay, so this one is on now. Alright, so now I'm good to go. So once I do this, then when you go to the plus sign and under vendors form, expense, check or bill, you will see these three items, three columns. One is a billable, the other one is markup, and then the customer project. This is the customer you select. Okay, and if you need to create purchase order, let's go to purchase order now. There's a plus sign, and let's say you buy certain products from your vendor, and then you basically bill to your customer. Okay, so you need to create a purchase order. So in order to create purchase order, you got to have items set up, or product and services set up. So in this case, you need to go to items. When you create purchase order, you need to select item details, not the category. The difference is category details. This one goes to your chart of accounts, and for invoices you need to use item details in here. So let's see if I have anything in here. Okay, so I do have certain items in here. Let's say okay, let's go to the setup, in the product and services setup. In here, here's the gear icon again. You can go from here too. See product and services. So this is where you set up items. Okay, I'm here. So just click new, and then have inventory, non-inventory, and service. Okay, so the difference is if you are not tracking inventory, you just buy item and sell to your customer. You can just set up as non-inventory. Just non-inventory. Just create this one. Okay. All right. Let's say this is the gadget. Gadget number 101. Okay, and you can use this SKU number. So it could be manufacturer's part number, or your own part number, or your vendor's part number. So let's say 101, and then you can select a category if you want. Let's say this is the this is just a gadget. Okay. And if you're using class, then you can select, let's say this is commercial or government type. Just sell this to item to government, or just retail, to whatever the way you have the class set up. Okay, and so this is the field you need for your sales forms when you invoice. Let's say this is gadget 101, and the sales price, you may not know this, so you can just leave it blank, or you can put in some guesswork. Let's say it's $200. Okay, and if it's taxable, then you select this taxable field, and then since you need to purchase this item, just select this items. So this is the gadget 101. Okay, and the cost, probably you don't know, but you can, that's okay. So this cost field, it doesn't mean very much. This is basically for when you want to create purchase order. You don't have to change it. You can just, it'll just come out from here. So let's say 100. Okay, and expense account, you can say purchases, or you want to make it part of the cost of goods sold. Let's say cost of goods sold. Okay, I'm going to put it cost of goods sold. That way you'll see the gross margin or profit margin on your sales. Okay, so prefer vendor. If you have one, then you can select one. If not, doesn't matter. Okay, save and close. So this means you created a non-inventory type item. The gadget is called 101. Okay, so the gadget 101 is right here. It's non-inventory, and let's say you also use contractors to provide services, and you basically contractually bill $100, and you mark up and invoice to your customer for X amount. So this is the service type. So this is, let's say, consulting or services. Alright, so this is let's say consulting on this one too. Okay, assign a class. Oop. Save this, assign a class. Let's say this is also commercial type, and then this is the consulting one. So this is the title, information, whatever you need to say this on the invoice format description, and this is fine. The material, let's say this is the so whatever income account you want to set up, let's say this is the billable expense income. That's fine. Okay, you may have just one account, service income type account. Okay, so if you need to create purchase order, then you need to select this. Let's say this is also the part of cost of sales. Okay, so prefer vendor, you don't have any, so let's just say save and close. So it's basically you need these two, the gadget, whatever products you are buying and selling to your customer, you need to create item. And in consulting, if you hire contractors, and use your service and bill back to your customer, then you say consulting or services or something you need. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Let's say now I want to create a purchase order for certain items. Okay, so purchase order is right here. Alright, so let's just say the vendor is ABC vendor, and you come here, item detail, not the category detail, and this is the one, the gadget 101. So you may have more than one items. This, let's just say this is for this customer. Let's say this SDNN with project 103, and the class is already set up there. Okay, so this is your cost. So if you want, you can change it to any amount you want. Let's say this week you got it. Let's say you want to buy 10 and you got a good deal. Let's say you got for 98 bucks. You can change that. Okay. Alright, so just basically save this. Okay, and if you want, you can email your vendor, you fill out other stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna save this. Okay, so now you have created a purchase order. Now you received a bill from your vendor, and you can just copy to bill, or you can just go to the bill and you'll pull out the purchase order too. Let's say you want to pay this by expense. Say you want to use this okay, so you want to just use like a bank card type. Okay, so this ABC vendor, as you can see here on the right side, you'll see the opening of a drawer in here. So just select add. Okay, and now the screen gives you a little bit messy in here, so I just want to reduce this to 100. Okay, 110 is fine. Okay, so it will pull out all these. As you can see here, this is kind of messy in here, the screen. Okay, so now you just need to select make this billable item, because you're going to bill to your customer, and then you can select your markup, how much markup you can have. Let's say this is, I'm gonna mark up 25% on this one, and you can make it this taxable or non-taxable. If you're going to charge sales tax, in this the tax in here, you already have the customer selected. And if you're buying more than items to different customers, you can do the same thing from the same vendor. Alright, so then it'll work out fine. So okay, so I have the invoice in here. This is 980. You're paying 980 and you're invoicing 1225. Okay, the markup is 25%. So I'm gonna save, and there's a save in here. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Okay, so you have linked your transaction to your customer in here. So now you are ready to invoice your customer. So remember, this is the customer. Now I'm going to save this and close. Now I'm ready to invoice. You can go from here, and if you know a customer, you can go from here, from the sales dashboard panel, customer. And so you want to invoice, let's say this SDNN, the project, they have project in here. Okay, new transaction. We just select your invoice. It'll go to the same place. Invoice. Okay, as you can see here, it's on the right side, the drawer is open here. Just say add and close this drawer. Okay, so you will see the 25% markup on gadget 101, and although you see this on screen, the markup when you send out or print, you won't see it. They won't see it. Your customer won't see it. Okay, so I'm just gonna save this and show you. So with the tax then it comes to 1323, and 1225 is your subtotal of this invoice. So it's basically, it will tell you 980 is your cost, 240 is your markup, that's your profit. Okay, so I'm just going to save this, and I'll show you the invoice print or preview. As you can see here, the customer will see something like this. If you need, you can change your format, invoice format, customize it, but basically invoice, you will see the invoice amount, which includes your markup, but you don't display markup in here. So if you need to show markup as two separate items, then you need to change this template. Okay, so I'm going to save this or send this, then that will do it for this thing. I'm going to save this. Okay, so now since this is the project type, you will see I don't have the project on this one, so basically this is the one. I'm just going to show you the reports. So let's say the profit and loss, and this is for today. Okay, I'm going to select this by customer. Okay, so here's the customer, and this is the one. We just this happens to be the sub customer, not real project in this example. Okay, so 1225 is your material income, and then you have cost of goods sold, and the markup net income is 245. So that's pretty clean. So that's how you need to do it. Hope this video is helpful to you. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have all kinds of free video tutorials. Thank you again. Bye.